When it comes to making friends, I think back on when I was younger and the people that was around me in my life and the people that I had to talk to throughout school. I moved pretty often. I would go from one school to another one. I could never really settle in to a place to adjust and to learn about the people around me, to understand them, to figure out what are their interests and hobbies. What do we have in common? What can we talk about? We constantly moved quite often from one place to another place, and I could just never get used to it. And so anytime I tried to make friends with somebody, we were moving again, or things would change, or there was a lot going on in my life. It made social interactions and learning how to socialize with people difficult later on in my life. And the friends that I did make as I got older, they all moved. After high school, I never really seen any of them again. In fact, I don't think there's a single person that I've been in contact with from elementary, middle school, or high school. Everybody sort of went their own direction in life, went their own way, had their own family and everything, and ended up having a job somewhere else. And it sort of seemed that if you didn't make long-lasting friends in growing up in school, and if they weren't, somebody that was your absolute best friend and you hung out with them all the time, if you were in a situation that you constantly moved and you had a lot of difficult things going on, and then you just didn't have the social skills to talk to people or to even make friends, then throughout school, as I got older and into high school, I didn't really know how to interact with people, how to approach someone, or really how to even talk to somebody. And then after high school, when I graduated, there were still a couple of people that I was still in contact with that I went to school with. But it wasn't long after that until I'd never heard from them again either. They moved to a different city, a different state. I tried to stay in contact with them, but they just never messaged me back, and because of that, I sort of just let them go and moved on. I tried to make new friends, but as someone that doesn't really have interest in, going out to places a lot, between work, drawing, editing videos, editing audio, recording time-lapse drawings, making tutorials, answering questions, working out, doing things around the house, cleaning and laundry and cooking and preparing meals, then going to the gym and working out, doing stretching, meditation, and everything else. I don't really have much of any time left to do anything else. And most of the things that I enjoy doing or that I even want to do are things that don't require or involve groups of people or really hanging out with anybody. Most of the things that I enjoy are things that I do by myself. Drawing, video creation, things like that. I've never been one that's had interest in going to, music concerts or sports games or any of that. So when it comes to meeting new people and making new friends, there's just not a whole lot of time for that. And the times that I go out and I try to make friends and meet people, I don't really meet anybody. It seems like a lot of people now are they don't seem as friendly as what they used to be. And the activities that I like to do aren't really very social. And so I just continue working the things that I enjoy doing and drawing and editing video. There's a couple of people and some of my subscribers that have stayed in contact with me, but I just don't really have much of any friends that are in person that I could call a friend. And since I didn't have a lot of that social interactions and practice growing up, and I didn't really develop that until I was older, by the time I started to develop that, I was already out of high school. And so everybody kind of went their own way, went about their own life in their own direction, with their own family, and I just never heard from them again. And when I did try to stay in touch with them or contact with them, they just never responded. And so I just moved on. But I don't think that, to me, it doesn't seem like I'm missing out on a lot, because I would rather have one friend or even no friends, and have that one friend as somebody that I can talk to about things. But it's sort of the compromise and sacrifice that you have to make when you want to achieve something. When you have goals in life or things that you want to do, and you might be living your life different than them. And because the things that you do take up so much of your time, and you're so busy doing that, you just some days don't have energy to go out and do all those activities. And I've been told to go to events or things that are hobbies and interests that I have. But I've been to art museums and art showings and stuff, but it seems that the people there are just so far different than me. I can't really relate to them in any way or anything that we talk about. They have completely different interests outside of art, and our personalities are just so different that we just don't really have anything to talk about. I went to a art museum about 3 years ago, and I felt so out of place. And I've always sort of felt completely out of place wherever I've lived, or where I live now, I feel out of place. And it doesn't really matter who I'm surrounded by. I always just kind of feel like sort of the outcast, and that I can't really be understood, or that there's not really people I have to talk to about similar interests or hobbies. And I try to keep in contact with people myself, but sometimes it just kind of feels like a chore when you try to keep up with the conversation, and you want to hang out with them, but I'm just so busy doing things that then I feel like maybe I wouldn't be a good friend, because they wouldn't hear from me that often, or I wouldn't have time to hang out with them, or I'm not really a person that likes to go out a whole bunch and go to places. And so because of that, a lot of times it feels like, or it is, that would be more work than what it would be worth, or what I would get out of it, trying to go out places and meet people to make friends and everything. So I just continued drawing and working on making my doodles and videos and everything. And I think it's part of what I have to give up if you want to achieve something. And I don't really mind it much because, as I said, I'd rather have, just one close friend than have, hundreds of people that I can't really talk to about anything. But anyways, that was just another topic I had to talk about, and I'm going to go think of some more. And if you like this video, give it a like, share it with your friends, and subscribe. Thank you, and you have a good day.